My disabled sister-in-law is furious because I took my niece to events she couldn't go to. She said her daughter was born into her family, not mine. My disabled sister-in-law is furious with me because I helped take my niece to events she couldn't go to, and said her daughter needs to learn she can't have everything. She told me her daughter was born into her family, not mine, and that I need to back off. My husband's sister, Laura, was in a car accident 8 years ago. She uses a wheelchair and has limited mobility in her arms. She's tough, independent, and she's done an incredible job raising her daughter Zoe, who's now 11. Zoe's dad isn't in the picture. He left 2 years after the accident and hasn't been heard from since. Laura does everything on her own, and the family helps where they can. I've always been close with Zoe. She reminds me of myself at that age. Curious about everything, always moving, always asking questions. When she was 7, she told me she wanted to try rock climbing. Laura couldn't take her because the facility wasn't accessible, and she physically couldn't help Zoe with the harness, so I offered. Laura said okay, as long as I sent photos. Zoe loved it. After that, it became a regular thing. I'd take Zoe to climbing, to the trampoline park, to the roller rink on weekends. We went hiking a few times. I took her to a water park last summer. These were all things Laura wanted to do with her daughter, but couldn't. I understood that, and I was careful about it. I always asked Laura first. I always sent pictures and videos. I never posted anything online without checking. I tried to be respectful of the fact that Laura was missing out on parts of her daughter's childhood, and that had to hurt in ways I couldn't fully understand. But something shifted about 6 months ago. Zoe started a swim team, and I volunteered to drive her to practices and meets because Laura's van was in the shop for 2 months. Laura agreed at first, but after a few weeks, Zoe started telling her about the meets, how I cheered for her, how we got ice cream after, how I helped her practice dives in the backyard pool. Laura pulled me aside at a family dinner. She looked upset. She said, "Zoe talks about you constantly. Every story is about you and her doing something. I don't get to be part of any of it." I said I was sorry and that I never wanted her to feel left out. I asked if she wanted me to cut back. She said no, but her face said yes. Then came the school talent show. Zoe was doing a dance routine and wanted both of us there. The auditorium was accessible, so Laura came. I was in the second row. When Zoe finished, she ran off stage and came straight to me. She jumped into my arms and said, "Did you see me?" Laura was right there, 3 feet away, and Zoe ran past her. The look on Laura's face broke my heart. After the show, Laura barely spoke to me. In the car ride home, my husband said Laura was really upset. I called her the next day to talk about it. She didn't want to talk. She wanted to yell. She said I was replacing her. She said Zoe saw me as her real mom and it was my fault because I kept inserting myself into her daughter's life. I said that wasn't true and that I was just trying to help. Then she said the thing that stung the most. She said, "My daughter was born into my family, not yours. You need to back off." She said Zoe needed to learn that she can't have everything in the world, that sometimes you miss out and that's life, that I was giving Zoe a version of childhood that Laura could never compete with, and it wasn't fair. I didn't argue. I cried after I hung up. I told my husband everything and he was caught in the middle. He loves his sister. He understood her pain, but he also told me I hadn't done anything wrong. I pulled back. I stopped offering to take Zoe places. I stopped volunteering for swim meets. I went from seeing Zoe 3 times a week to maybe once at family dinners. Zoe noticed immediately. She called me and asked why I wasn't coming around. I told her I was busy with work. She didn't buy it. She's 11, but she's sharp. "Aunt Tina, did my mom say something to you?" I didn't answer that. I just said I loved her and I'd see her soon. 2 months went by. Laura didn't reach out. Zoe's swim times dropped because she was missing practices nobody could drive her to. She stopped going to the climbing gym. Her world got smaller and I watched it happen from the outside. Last week at a family barbecue, Zoe walked up to Laura in front of everyone and said, "Why did you make Aunt Tina stop hanging out with me?" Laura went pale. "I didn't make anyone do anything." Zoe looked at her. "You did. She told me she's busy, but she's not busy. She's always home. You said something to her." The table went quiet. Laura looked at me like I'd coached Zoe. I hadn't. I shook my head and Laura knew it was the truth. She wheeled away from the table. My husband followed her. I sat there feeling sick. Zoe sat next to me and leaned her head on my arm. "I just want things to go back to normal," she said.